Hello everyone, my name is Justin, and I haven't recorded in a very long time. And this is To Be or Not to Be. This is a game that I actually played a while back, which should be annotated somewhere in the video now. I played this game a while back, it was just like a one-time spin-off kind of thing, and I was asked earlier this evening for part 2, so I'm gonna go through it again. Last time we chose Ophelia. You have just been born. Congratulations. Good work on that thing. Now, surprise. Babies are boring, so we're going to jump ahead in time to a point where you're an adult, and you've already lived a bunch of your life. But I promise most of what we're skipping over was really dull. If you can't tell by now, this is it's not a visual novel. No, it's not. It's a novel, but it makes Shakespeare funny, in a way. If you think that could be a thing. You ate a lot, you slept a lot, you made some friends, tears were shed, makeouts were totally had, etc. It was a bunch of high school stuff. The awesome stuff starts now. So, let's begin, my friend. Remind me, who are you again? Are you Ophelia? No, we already played her. Hamlet. Hamlet has a +1 resistance to magic, but there's no magic in this adventure, so this never gets mentioned again as of right now. He's an emo teen, and we'll do Hamlet. King of Denmark. We will play as Hamlet. Achievement get. Choose to play as Hamlet. Oh, no. Oh, you can't see it on there, but I got an achievement. You are Hamlet. You're 30 years old, and you're back living at home. But it's okay because your home is a castle. That's right, ladies. You're a prince. Things have been rough lately. You had been trying to focus on your studies at Wittenberg University, where you and your bros, Horatio, Rosencrantz, and Guildenstern all hang out, but you were called home because your father died. Then your dead dad's brother, Claudius, married your mom, Gertrude, 2 weeks later. Man, that's a dick move. Yep. Yeah, see, he agrees. It's made you kind of upset. You raced home to comfort her, but she's married your uncle, and that's kind of weird. You feel weird. Right now, you're in the audience chamber of your father's castle, here in sunny Denmark. King Claudius is here addressing his court. Latris and Polonius are here too. Laretris, I don't know, is kind of a jerk, and Polonius is his father. Polonius is also the father of Ophelia, whom you're totally sweet on. She's not here, though. Who knows what adventure she's having as we speak, while you're stuck in this drafty castle room listening to other people talk about their feelings. Speaking, just now, Laretris says, freaking Larry, says something about how that Claudius is king, and he's attended the coronation. Is it okay for him to go back to France? Claudius says, sure. Wait a minute. You'd love to leave too, and go back to school, away from this weird incesty thing your mother's gotten herself into. I don't know. It's gross and weird. I'm not going to comment on it. What now? Ask Claudius for permission to go back to school. Hold your tongue and just wait around. Now, I think this right here indicates that this is what actually happened. We're going to click that. You hold your hand up and open your mouth, but before you can say anything, Claudius addresses you directly, calling you his son. That's weird. On the one hand, that's entirely appropriate, especially since he's just married your mom like 2 weeks ago, but on the other hand, he has brought creepy uncle to new heights. Creepy uncle points? Points for that, maybe? What now? Insult him under your breath by saying you're more than kin, i.e. you're related more than once now as both father, son, and uncle, nephew, but less than a kind. This relationship you're in is unnatural. In real life, people think of singers like this on the spot all the time, so this totally makes sense. Say, you're not really my dad, and storm out of the room. This seems more interesting. He straight up ignores your zinger. Well, shoot. That was such a good one, too. King Claudius goes to tell you, in so many words, to buck up, stop dressing in black, stick around for a while, and have a little fun. He says all the feelings you're having are boring and wimpy. Your mom echoes his sentiments. Dude, your mom just called you a wimp. You agree to stick around in Denmark for a while, they leave, and you're suddenly alone. Woo! You're finally alone. Hamlet. What are you gonna do? Talk to yourself about how your life is in ruins and how everything sucks. Stand around quietly until something happens. Stand around quietly until something happens. While you're busy doing that, your friend Horatio bumps into you and tells me, hey, he's in town for your dad's funeral, mom's wedding, and they served leftover appetizers from one at the other. Oh, that's gross. Ghosts are real. He's seen one, and so have a bunch of other guys. It keeps showing up at the same time, and he's pretty sure it's a ghost of your dad. Finally, some adventure, some closure. You agree that you'll come with him tonight to see the ghost when it shows up again. It's such an obvious decision that it kind of feels like you don't even have a choice in the matter. What for? Agree to go with Horatio tonight to see the ghost when it shows up again. I don't have a choice. Okay. I'll be there 11:30 sharp, you say, and Horatio leaves, satisfied. Well, now you have 8 hours to blow before it's time to meet ghosts. What do you want to do, Hamlet? Be with Ophelia for a while. To be she. No, I don't want to switch. I don't want to switch. Right, you're Ophelia. You are a beautiful and independent young woman, and although it makes you roll your eyes when you think about it, you've fallen in love with a prince. Prince Hamlet is funny and charming, and he seems to like you a lot. You try not to get too excited about it because you're worried you might jinx it, but things are really going great. Only it's been hard doing the long-distance thing while you've both been off at university. And while you've loved studying capital S science, and you're sure Hamlet's loving study capital U undeclared hasn't been easy. Now that you're both back together in Denmark for his father's funeral and his mother's second wedding, it's been harder still. Hamlet's really sad, and you can't blame him for that since you know his dad died, but you wish there was something you could do to help him. When you last saw him, Hamlet mentioned how the castle seemed cold and drafty, and for some reason it stuck with you. You've been sitting at your desk trying to think of something that you could give him that would help with that. A way of cheering him up a little, remind him he's still got people who care about him. He wears these cloaks all the time, but then he's taking them off in warm rooms and putting them back on in cold ones. If only there was some way you could keep the rooms at uniform temperature, he wouldn't need to be constantly adjusting his clothes throughout the day. Now, I vaguely remember reading this, and I didn't watch my old video, so I don't know if this is the same stuff. But to do that, you need to do some way of measuring heat and way of transporting it throughout the castle, perhaps through a series of pipes. Yes, I remember this. Your thoughts are interrupted by a knock at your door. Who is it? You call. It's me, says your brother. Come on, let me in. Let him in. Sure. You open the door for your brother. Oh my god, I can't. My reading is going downhill slowly. You can come in, you say. But I don't want to hear any opinions about my personal life. If you sleep with Hamlet, you're a slut, he says. I'm pretty sure, Shakespeare wrote it differently, but slam the door in his face. Bam! That felt good. Latris shouts through the door that he's sorry and just wanted to say goodbye before he left for France. But when you open the door a crack, he sticks his head in and says, I'm just saying, have sex with him and your damaged goods. You slam the door in his face again, barely missing his nose. You shout through the door that if you're damaged goods, he's an entire shelf of unsellable eggs that went off weeks ago. And also, as your brother, he's got an entirely unhealthy interest in your sex life. No, you're unhealthy, Latris shouts in return, Larry. And then you hear him stomp away down the hall. What a jerk, and his retorts don't even make sense. Return to desk. At your desk, you continue your work on the problem of automatically heating the castle. Hours turn into days, and you're generally left alone by both your family and your boyfriend. Your father ignoring you is no big deal, and while you're a little worried about Hamlet not stopping by so often, he has asked you to leave him alone for a while he mourns, and you're respecting his wishes. But if you're going to be honest with yourself, you also just gotten really absorbed in this problem. You decide to split the problem into two sections: delivering heat and knowing when to deliver heat. It would be possible to put servants in every room and have them report when it's too cold, but that's expensive and unreliable. It depends on the servant, the warmth of their clothes, how much they love to lie to people about what temperature their skin is sensing, and so on. You're wandering the castle grounds when it hits you. You've been thinking about how water expands when it freezes and how it could be used to tell when it's cold, but it's not use for measuring temperatures outside the freezing point. Your father, Pete, happens to wander by, talking to himself about the evils of drink, and you realize alcohol. The right alcohol would expand linearly with heat, and by putting it in a cylinder glass vial, you could measure the size of that liquid, which would correspond one by one with temperature. But the same markings on each of these glass vials at the same temperatures, and you've got a universal, comparable, and consistent way of measuring heat. You wouldn't have to rely on the servant's impression. They could just tell you what line the alcohol has reached. You run back to your room and start working on a prototype. Just as you complete it, you hear a knock at your door. Who is it? You call. And oh my, who should answer from the other side of the door? Hamlet. Mind control. Control reality using Ophelia's thoughts. You decide you want Hamlet to be on the other side of the door. Open it, and Hamlet really is at the door. That's so freaky. How'd you do that? Hamlet steps into your room. You haven't seen each other for a while, so it's great to see him. You run up and throw your arms around him, and you kiss. It's just like old times. But the moment passes, and when you look at his face, you can see concern written all over it. He's troubled by something. Ask him what's troubling him. Because that's what we all want anyone in that situation to do, right? You ask him what's wrong, and well, there's no other way to put this, so I'll give it to you straight. Hamlet tells you about a spooky ghost and a plan for murdering his stepfather, Claudius, pretender to the throne. I'll be frank, it sounds crazy. A ghost, murder, but he is your friend and lover, and you're not going to leave him hanging out to dry. As gently as you can, you tell him you're pretty sure ghosts don't exist, but even if they do, he needs to be certain that the ghost he saw is actually the ghost of his father. What if it is some other ghost trying to mess things up? That seems to give him pause. Hamlet admits he never actually asked the ghost for information only his dad would know. It's possible the ghost could be an imposter. I'll come with you tonight, sweetie, you say. We'll go together, and if the ghost shows up, we'll figure out what to do. You're confident no ghost will appear and that his will all just go away. You take his hand and squeeze. Hamlet looks up at you, and you can see his relief. Okay, he says, smiling. Wherefore? Go see the ghost that evening. Evening comes, and Hamlet leads you to the spot outside where he first saw the ghost. We have to wait till around midnight, he says. I think that's when he normally shows up. That music, though. To pass the time, you play a storytelling game and you enjoy, where you say one word of a story and he says the next word, and neither you know where the story will go. Once, you begin. Upon, he says. You say. Time, he says. This is gonna get tedious. There, you say. Was, he says. A, you say. Beautiful, he says, looking at you. You smile. Prince, you reply, and he smiles back. Who, he says. Wanted, you say. To. Kiss. His girlfriend. That's cheating, you say. And then you're kissing. That wasn't as teasy as I thought it would be. Wherefore, make out for a while. Don't make out because you can't believe you're thinking this. What if a ghost catches you making out? Make out for a while. You make out for what turns out to be quite a while, as the night is warm and the stars are stunning and there are no bugs here to bite any exposed flesh, and before you know it, you totally made out as much as possible to totally make out. Nice. And you've fallen asleep in each other's arms. If ghosts exist, and if one really did show up, he certainly had the good grace to leave you alone for your makeouts. Also, he was probably embarrassed that you were both naked. Way naked. The two of you return to the same spot the next evening and the evenings after that. But it becomes more and more a date night and less a specter from beyond the grave wants to get some murders done thing. King Claudius and Pete are not exactly thrilled with the two of you being together, but on the flip side, any urges to commit regicide that I need an encyclopedia that were floating around have begun to fade too. Though you talk about it often, the whole encounter with the ghost, if it really did happen, takes on quality of a dream. Rather than do the long-distance thing, you decide to move in together and get your own place here in Denmark. Together, the two of you work on finalizing the invention of the alcohol thermometer. It works! And even figure out the other half of it, a way to move heated air throughout the building. Congratulations, you invented central heating. It's an invention that all of Denmark wants and most are willing to pay for. While it's not the largest, you do live in the most comfortable estate in the entire country, thanks to the heating money. One bright summer day, the two of you walk through the castle garden. You get down on one knee and say, "Sweetie, you're the most important person in my life, and I can't imagine ever living without you. I want to make you as happy as you make me every single day. Let's get married. You mean every single word." It's not the most traditional proposal in the world, nor is it the most traditional wedding, but it's wonderful and beautiful and perfect. You're very happy. You don't invite Claudius to the wedding. A few years later, Claudius falls ill with some sort of lung disease, and doctors are unable to treat it effectively. He passes away only a few months later, having never produced a heir. Shortly after, the two of you become the new king and queen of all of Denmark. Your first child, Alex, is born 5 months later, and you all live happily ever after. The end. Oh, that's great. I like that. Yay, I got all this stuff. Uh-oh. The Hamlometer. Oh no, I want to see it. Oh no. Choices made, 17. Times you were, 1. Times you were not, 0. You create a better story than Shakespeare. Why not use your limitless power to go on an all-new adventure? Which we'll do next time if I create another one of these, which I'm not sure if I'll do. But thanks for watching. I do appreciate it, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a comment down below, and I'll write right back to you. Take it easy, guys.